In today's episode of Can I Retire, I have Patrick and Brittany hypothetical, completely made up case, and they are both 64 years of age with $1.4 million, and they want to know if they can retire. They've got some concerns. Now, I don't care if you have more money or less money. These videos are just to give you ideas of what you could possibly be doing in or near retirement. So, their biggest concern is this. In 2022, they had a significant amount of losses in their portfolios. They're down about 18 to 20%. And they want to retire in the next 1 or 2 years. And so they're thinking, can we really afford big losses? What other are our options here? What could we or should we be doing? So we're going to dive into our software, and I'm going to set this case up for you. You can see that we have Patrick working for company ABC. He makes about $175,000 a year, and he wants to retire here in about a year from now. And then Brittany, his wife, she works for a company XYZ, or she's in the school system, and she makes about $85,000 a year, and she wants to retire at the age of 65 as well. We come down to their Social Security benefits, and Patrick, he's thinking that maybe we turn on the Social Security at 65 when they do retire. I'm not saying that's the right or wrong way to do it, but we want to get through this case because there's a lot to cover here. And his primary insurance amount at that time is going to be $3,500. He's got a little cost of living adjustment of 2.25. We can increase or decrease that based on past history, whatever your personal beliefs are. Then Brittany, her primary insurance amount at 65 is going to be $2,850 with the same cost of living adjustment. Patrick's blessed in the fact that his company is going to give him a pension of $1,500 with no cost of living, but 100% survivorship to Brittany if something were to happen to him. So let's jump over to the asset tab and let's take a look at, hey, where is all the money at? This is always the fun part. And so our checking account, many of you know that if you've watched our prior videos, I put $1 in. That usually just means money in, money out. They don't have large amounts of money in there. They have a joint savings account with $50,000, low risk, right? They can't lose any money in the savings account. They have a CD also classified as low risk with $100,000, and that's classified as a joint account with Patrick and Brittany both on that account. Now, they have some qualified money. Patrick has a 401k, they're in mutual funds, and he has about $600,000, and he's also depositing $2,500 on a monthly basis into that plan. He's going to do that until the day he retires. He has a second qualified plan, an IRA, traditional money. Money's never been taxed on this yet. It's a mutual funds as well too, and he has $200,000. It's from an old company that he was with, and he's not contributing to that account. Brittany also has 2 qualified accounts. Her 403B with the school system that she's at, she has $200,000 and she's doing $1,500 a month. And we're just going to say that they're doing what, in the way that I really like it, where they're putting in a certain dollar amount and the company that they're working for is doing a dollar for dollar match or up to that percentage amount. She has a second qualified account, an IRA from an old job, and she has $100,000 in that account, and she is not contributing to it anymore. Remember those 4 accounts because they're going to be very important coming up here in a second. They also have, Patrick has a Roth account and Brittany has a Roth account, and we gave them credit for about $75,000 in each one of those accounts. So there's the case. We're all set up to go here. We know they want to retire in about a year from now or 2 at the age of 65 for both of them, and they've got a house worth $500,000. So $1.4 million approximately right here in liquid assets, $500,000 house, and so they're worth about $1.9 million. We're assuming they have no debt, even the house is paid for. But here's the key for them, right? They've been in the stock market for the last 35, 40 years. They've played that game for a long time. But after 2022, and they had those significant losses, and they know that retirement's right around the corner, they're like, maybe enough is enough. What are our options here? We've been doing some research on some other products, and we'd like to talk about it. So here's where they're currently at. Their current scenario shows they've got about 90% of their life savings at risk in the stock market. So we're going to classify this green money at low risk. That's going to be the checking, the savings, and the CDs, right? They can't lose any money, but the other 90% is at risk in the stock market. All right, they may be more conservative or they may be aggressive, but it can go up and down. But after taking, in-depth risk analysis and asking a lot of questions, they really want to avoid the market risk if they can. So they said that they've been online doing their research and looking at annuities, right? So let me tell you this about annuities. I'm not the biggest fan of annuities. I actually don't like about 90% of them or more on the market. A few years ago, I even wrote a book called The Truth About Annuities. You can go on to Amazon, get a copy. This is a shameless plug, but 100% of the proceeds all go to Feeding America. I don't take one dime from them. I wrote it as unbiased as I possibly could, but I have to tell you up front, I still don't like 90+% of them. So when we're having this dialogue of does it make sense to use an annuity or not, you have to understand the basics, and that are annuities can be designed in many, many different ways. Some are designed for growth potential. Some are to protect you from downside market risk. Some are designed for income planning. Some are designed for like CDs for short-term growth over a 1 or 2 or 3 year period. They're all over the place. So you have to be very, very careful to work with the right company, and we're not going to get into specific companies. I don't think that's what this video is for. I just want you to know you got to make sure you do your homework and your research before picking the right ones. So we're going to dive in, and I want to show you something. Right now we've got all this money at risk, and they want about $11,000 to maintain their standard of living for the rest of their life. We're using 2.85 for inflation, a little bit more than what the bare minimum has been for the last 10 years. And if I go out to the retirement tab, you can see that their money lasts till age 94 years of age. This isn't bad. If I can get it to age 100, it makes me feel a little bit better. That way, all the curveballs that they're throwing along from 65 and beyond, hopefully we can hit them out of the park. Whether that's, they have health problems, they need to upgrade things in the house, they need a new car, whatever the situation is they're well prepared for all of those unknowns. So you have to understand that this is also thinking that they're going to be in the stock market over this entire time. So if we take a look here when they retire, and they're both 66 years of age, remember that Patrick is going to have that pension, right? $1,500. It never goes up. You can see that in this column right here for the rest of their lives. He passes away, Brittany's going to get that. Here we've kicked on their Social Security, and you can see what those $2 amounts are, and you can see every single year it's going up just a little bit for that cost of living adjustment. But remember, they need $11,000 in today's environment. With inflation, that's going to feel more like about $4,400 that they're going to have to pull out of their liquid assets to maintain that standard of living. And then you're going to see as time goes by that that's going to be a little bit more every single year, all the way up into age 80. They're going to have to be pulling about $7,600 out to where they're upper 80s or 90s. It's $10,000 a month coming out of their portfolio. And off to the far right over here, you can see the portfolio balances, and that's how that's coming down, all the way down to age 94 years of age before all the assets are gone, zero. Now, this is also assuming that they're getting an average rate of return. I use somewhere between 4.5% to 5% rate of return. Nothing aggressive at all, trying to be very conservative. And obviously we can do a little bit more. You feel like the stock market's done better, but we're just being conservative. However, let's stress test this. What happens, let's say, like in 2000, 2001, 2002, where the market was down 3 straight years and someone is pulling withdrawals out? So I'm going to show in the first year, the market was down 10%. And then the next year down 13%, and then the third year down 23%. This is called the sequence of returns. So the first 3 years, really bad, and they're pulling out a lot of money right into the retirement. So you can see this is not a good thing. Now, we like to set things up just in case this happens to maybe we take assets from another place that are not in the stock market. That way you're not pulling a ton of money out while the account's going down as well. This happens in this scenario, the probability of success doesn't look as good. So instead of money running out at the age of 94, now they're looking at money only lasting until age 84, 10 years earlier. So quite concerning. And this is exactly what they're talking about. This is why they started doing research before they called me up and wanted me to take a look at it. And they've been looking at different types of annuities. And so We talked about that for quite a bit and showed them that there's pros and cons. There's the good, the bad, the ugly. You really got to make sure that you're getting into the right ones, because once you're in for quite a while. So all I simply did to very clearly, to make this as simple as I possibly could, is I took those 4 accounts. Remember, Patrick had 2 qualified accounts, a 401k and an IRA. And Brittany had 2 qualified accounts, a 403b at the school system, and she had an IRA as well. All I simply did is I moved them down. I used the same dollar amounts for simplicity's sake for this hypothetical case, and I dropped them into 4 different annuities. So here's Patrick, annuity number 1 for him. I dropped in the $600,000 that he had. I just took it out of the stock market. And I said, listen, when he retires at 65 here coming up, what would be a joint payout for him and his wife that would be guaranteed based on the structure, the ability of the company that's going to give him this money for the rest of their life? What would that payout look like? And in today's environment, doing a little bit of research, juggling numbers around, they could get a little more than $4,000 a month come 65 years of age when they go to retire in about a year. And then I also took annuity number 2, put that into a separate account, and that one would pay out if I turned both of them on at the same time at 65 for him. That second annuity would pay out an additional $1,337 as a joint payout for him and his wife till they both passed away. Then I said, hey, listen, let's do the third annuity and let's defer it a little bit. Let's give them a pay raise in about 5 years from now. So in 2030, I took $200,000, and that joint payout for both of them would be $1,870. And then I said, let's take the fourth annuity and let's push it out 10 years. So in 2035, that annuity is going to pay out $1,437 per month, guaranteed for both of their lives. And then when they pass away, the account balance goes to their named beneficiaries. Sometimes there will be money left over, sometimes there's not. Just depends on the strength of the company, etc. Always make sure that you double check the strengths of the company and finding the right annuities. So this was just simply to show, hey, listen, now we put them in more of desirable risk classification because the money's no longer at risk to the stock market. They don't have to worry about who the next president is going to be and how the stock market's going to go up or go down. This is supposed to be income that they'll receive for the rest of their life. And so they're out of the stock market for a majority of their money. I can't stress this enough. It is not a good thing, very rarely, I can only think of a case or two I've seen in many, many years, to where you want to put 90+% of your assets into annuities. You have to have liquid money out there for a rainy day. So when you have an emergency or you need to do upgrades to house, car, all those things, you have liquid assets set aside. That's going to be the CD money. That could be high yield savings account. It could be emergency account. It could be the Roth IRAs that are left over there. You have to have liquid money in balance with the annuities. Don't let anybody talk you into putting all of or a huge amount of money into the annuities and locking that money up. That is not a good thing. And some of those companies will take it. They shouldn't, but they still can. So if I come out here to retirement age, you can see that I've got money lasts until age 95. But here's the difference. If I scroll down to age 95, just like in the first case scenario that they had, all the money was gone in a perfect scenario, right? Well, similar here. The liquid assets are gone in this case. However, they still have a tremendous amount of money left over. So let's go through this. At 95, here we still have the $1,500 pension. We've got both Social Securities, if they're both still living, right? And then right over here, here are the 4 annuities. Now, I just made the annuity payments level, didn't do any sort of an increase or cost of living adjustment or anything like that. I kept this case as easy as I possibly could to help you understand, should you be considering an annuity or not? Is it on the table? What are the pros and cons? But you can see, even if the liquid assets are gone at 95, they still have, what is that? 9. They got tons of money here coming in on a monthly basis. The other way doesn't look so good. So this is just to give you some things to think about if annuities are something that you should consider or not. So what I didn't have a chance to cover are the taxes in this particular video, but I did another video recently, one called I'm 64 with $1.3 million, and that video there goes through some great tax strategies. We're going to link it up here for you so you can go check that out. I hope this was helpful, and as always, remember to consult a licensed professional who understands your specific goals and dreams.